Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of my beauty trash. I have a ton of products here, especially considering that I haven't filmed one of these videos for about 2.5 months. I've been really putting it off for the last couple weeks because I just haven't had the time to sit down and share with you guys all of these products because there's a lot of them. So I'm just gonna wrap up this intro super quickly. We're gonna hop right on into all the empties. I'll be starting with makeup. That's my favorite category of empties, so I always just like to start with that. I know it's the most exciting, maybe I should leave it till the end, but I love it the most, so we're just gonna start with that. I have a ton of makeup, actually. A lot of makeup, and most of it I finished in Project Pans. However, there are a couple things that I finished outside of Project Pans, mainly mascaras. I have 5 mascaras that are empty here. The first 2 are actually both from Marc Jacobs. I was very generously sent these from Influencer, so I was very lucky to try these for free. The Velvet Noir Primer and the Velvet Noir Mascara. And I thought this was okay. It wasn't my favorite mascara, especially the fact that it only really worked for me when I used these in combination. So there is this white or like kind of nude toned primer here. I love the wand. I do find it's a little bit big, but I like these kinds of hourglass shaped wands for sure. But the problem with this primer for me was, yes, it gave me a lot of volume, a lot of length, and it really did amp up mascaras that I put on top of it. But because of that tone, I felt like I could never ever cover it up on all of my lashes. I have very small eyes, so I find it really difficult to get mascara on the top of my lashes. So with this, I'd always have to go in with a liquid liner and like draw it on the top of my lashes because this would just coat the top, and then when I'd go in with the mascara on top, it would coat the bottom of my lashes. But this wand is the exact same. It's very large, so I couldn't I got mascara on my hand, but I couldn't actually go in with this wand and get it on the top of my lashes. So I always struggled with that. I'd always have to draw either using like a black eyeshadow or using a liquid liner. I'd have to go in and actually eliminate the look of the primer on my lashes, and this would take me quite some time. This combo, I would require a little bit of dry time down with the primer and then go in with the mascara, and it was just something I couldn't do very quickly, and I would get kind of the same result from other mascaras. So this Milk Kush mascara, this is my absolute favorite. You guys have seen this in empties a lot this year. I've recently opened up a full size of this as well. And this gives me the exact same result that that mascara combo gives me in one formula and with way less time. So I would definitely purchase this over that combo, especially considering this ends up being like less than half the price. The Marc Jacobs combo ends up being like $68 Canadian for just mascara. I feel like that's kind of crazy, but this wand here is much more tapered and it's more of just a traditional wand, and I find that this gives me so much volume. There are apparently heart-shaped fibers in this, which I don't really notice the difference of, but I definitely do get a lot of volume and length out of this mascara, and I definitely preferred it over the Marc Jacobs. This is the Too Faced Damn Girl mascara. I was super interested in trying this because I've never been a fan of Better Than Sex from Too Faced, and I just felt like maybe this would be a good alternative for me. However, I must say I wasn't a fan. Initially, I really did like it, but the one big downfall to this, I'd say, is the fact that when you get into the product, you can just see, like, look how much is on the wand. I'd have to literally go and scrape mascara off onto the wand, and you can see the mess it created on the actual tube as well. So when I would scrape the product off, then I'd be able to go in onto my lashes, because otherwise it would just clump so bad. It'd look like I'd have like 4 lashes just merged together on my eyes, and it was just not a good situation. And then this ended up drying up so quickly. I think I had this open for less than 2 months before it felt like it wasn't ever getting anything coated onto my lashes, even though there's so much product that's still on the wand. It just, yeah, didn't jive with me. I have heard really great things about the formula, but given that it didn't last me for very long and the fact that it was just so tedious to actually get the product onto my lashes, I just, no, I'm gonna say it's not worth it. And then a high-end mascara that I am a fan of is this one right here. This is from Smashbox. This is the Superfan mascara. I adore this stuff so much. It is very different from the other formulas that I've shown you, however. So you can see here, why am I having such a hard time showing this? It's a rubber bristle wand, and it is quite a small wand. The actual like fibers or like the bristles are quite short, so this can really grip onto my lashes. I have small eyes, my lids are hooded and very oily, and this really gives me a lot of opportunity to really define at my actual lash line and pull it up, and it gave me a ton of length and separation, and this did not smudge or transfer at all. Not on the lid, not on the lower lash line. I could use this on both the top and bottom lashes, no problem at all. This is the second tube of this that I've gone through. This is honestly such a great mascara. I highly recommend it, especially if you do have issues with transferring or if you have issues with separation. Beautiful, beautiful mascara. It definitely isn't something that gives me the most volume or impact, like dramatic lashes, but when I was going for a look that was a little bit more subdued, this was my jam. And then the Milk Kush is the like alternative to that, where it's way more volumizing, way more dramatic. And yeah, I love both of those mascaras. The other ones, yeah, I could definitely do without. I've got a couple of recent concealer empties. They are both like complete opposites when it comes to price point. This first one is from Colourpop. This is their No Filter Concealer. I have mine in the shade Light 20. However, I did get this before they did like a shade extension, so I don't know what my shade would be at the moment. But yeah, I really do like this stuff. It worked for me best when I did have really oily skin. It really helped to conceal acne, and I did really like it under my eyes then. However, recently I did not prefer this under my eyes. I find my skin is just too dry. I did find that this worked for me whether I had dry skin or oily skin. This is a really great like multi-purpose kind of concealer. It works under the eyes as well as on the face. And I ended up taking out the stopper. You can see there's like no product left in here whatsoever. I really did work my way through this. Everything that you can see in here is completely dried up because this is quite a fast drying concealer. And because it's such a thin layer, it's completely dried. So I really got my money's worth out of this. I think I paid like $6 US for this concealer and really, really enjoyed it. On the other hand, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. I have this in the shade 3, which is a fair shade. Beautiful concealer formula, really rich and creamy. I really loved using this under the eyes. It was beautiful all over the face as well. I would use it like to brighten up on my forehead and around my mouth and on the sides of my nose, and it was absolutely beautiful. However, I can't even open this. I always struggled with opening this, and I hate this little applicator here. I'm not a fan of this situation at all because it felt like it was just dirty all the time. It really didn't allow the concealer to properly like apply to the skin. I feel like this creamy formula would just do so much better with a doe foot. It would feel so much more luxurious. This just does not feel luxurious to me. And this did not last all that long. Like I feel like I didn't get a ton of use out of this. Now I did have it open for about a year, but I wasn't reaching for it regularly or consistently rather. But yeah, beautiful formula. It is something I would consider repurchasing in the future because I just did find it to be so effortless, but I'm not a fan of this cap. Is so hard to get off, and how grubby this gets in here with this applicator. Not a fan of that. Also not a fan of the price tag. I think it's like $40, which is insane. So I definitely am not purchasing it in the immediate future. I do not have the budget for that, but I was a fan. I was very graciously also sent this by a local PR company, so I'm very fortunate I had a chance to try it out, but like I enjoyed it and I really did love it, and it is something I would consider repurchasing. It's just not something that's feasible for me right now, and it does definitely have its flaws. I've recently finished up 3 foundations. You guys know I'm on a journey to finish up my like more full coverage foundations. The first one I have here is the Born This Way foundation. This is in the shade Almond. I love this so much. So I ended up using it and finishing it off by mixing it actually with this Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This one is in the shade Soft Beige, and I find that this just is a little bit too cakey. This shade was also too deep and a little bit too neutral. So mixing it with Almond, which is quite yellow and a little bit too fair for me, was perfect. It also just helped to make this look a little bit more natural because this is just such a skin-like finish. This is such a beautiful foundation. Once I work my way through more of my foundations, I really want to just purchase this and have this as my standalone like medium to full coverage foundation option. It's just so beautiful. It's so good. I'm such a fan of this. Wet n Wild, on the other hand, is not cruelty-free, so that's why I was trying to use this up. I don't find that I prefer this type of finish anymore. I used to really like this more full coverage, but it just is far too heavy for me now, and it definitely does start to live a little bit in like my lines on my forehead and around my mouth. So yeah, I loved this as a combination mixer foundation, but on its own, I didn't love this one. And the last foundation I finished up recently is this one from Fenty Beauty. I didn't finish this in my Project Pan Roulette, which is where I was really working on it, but I ended up finishing it off and actually finishing up the primer that I was mixing it with too shortly after that project wrapped up. It feels like that was an eternity ago. I can't believe I'm only talking about these empties now. This is insane. But I actually, yeah, finished both of these up shortly after that project wrapped up. So I would mix the primer into this because this was just far too matte and very quick drying for my skin type. And this just gave it a little bit more slip, made it a little bit more malleable and blendable. And so I was really liking these in combination with one another. Didn't care for the primer on its own, but did like the primer when I had oily, or did like the foundation rather, when I had oily skin. This was an absolute favorite of mine. It was just so great and long wearing for me when my skin was oily, but now that my skin type has changed, I really did like these in combination. I also really like this mixed with the Too Faced Hangover Primer. That's how I will be getting a lot of use out of my fuller coverage foundations. And that's how I have been reaching for them, is I mix them primarily with primers. I do find if I mix my foundations with moisturizers, it's not quite the same, but I can actually get the finish that I want by mixing it with a primer that has that same kind of property. So that's why I really liked this in combination together, and yeah, happy to get both of them out of my life too. And speaking of Project Pan Roulette items, I have this Bare Minerals Dew Mist. I finished this in the current round of the Project Pan Roulette. Really happy to get this used up and out of my life. This was just a point perk from Sephora, and it only lasted me exactly a month, or just under a month. So I definitely have like feelings for it. I don't think that it's necessarily the best ever dewy setting spray for me. I actually think I like that this has like an iridescence to it, but I do prefer the way that the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Spray actually looks on the skin. It actually gives like a very natural dew, whereas this one does look a little bit more artificial because there is that sheen in it. Not that I'm opposed to that at all, but the e.l.f. one is like a small fraction of the price. So won't repurchase this in a full size, but happy to have played around with it and to get to use it, especially at this time of year. And this is an eyeliner that was in the last round of the Project Pan Roulette. I didn't finish it in that project. I actually never finished it at all because the product ended up popping out of the packaging and falling on the floor by my vanity, and I was just like, nope, not doing that anymore. I finished up the majority of it though, and happy to get this used up. This is, did I even say what this is? This is the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Get Paid. Love this color. I think it really brightens up and livens up my eyes. I think it's really beautiful in the waterline, gorgeous on the lash line if I have like nothing else going on in my eyes as well. And yeah, big fan. It is something I would consider picking up in the future, but for the time being, I just don't have an absolute like desperate need for it, but it would look super cool with a like eye look like this. I think it would look beautiful, but just don't have anything like it to hand at the moment. But yeah, did really enjoy it. Gorgeous like coppery bronze shade, so stunning. I finished this up in my 9 in 2019 Project Pan. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. Really happy to get this used up and out of my collection. This took absolutely forever. So much energy and effort went into using this guy up. I do have another full size in my collection that I haven't yet opened. I've talked about that numerous times on my channel, but yeah, I really do think this is great value for money. If you're not interested in trying a variety of eyebrow products, this is really great, but for me personally, I do like playing around and doing different techniques, so this isn't something that I absolutely like desperately love and need in my collection, but I will work my way through the other one that I have. So why do I look like I have like 70s curls going on right now? Okay. Anyways, this next product is another one that I haven't actually technically finished entirely, but I'm considering it an empty. This is the Stila Glitter and Glow in the shade Kitten Karma. This is a glittery liquid eyeshadow. Absolutely beautiful. Love the way that this looks, but if you're familiar with my channel, you already know I preemptively took out the stopper. The wand was starting to get dry, so I just decided I'd pull it out and keep using this product, and it just is not the same after that. I've rehydrated it multiple times using a setting spray, and I can't make it function for me anymore. I don't think it's really worth it to buy something like Inglot Duraline, nor do I even know if Inglot is cruelty free, but I just don't see, I don't personally have a major desire to keep working with this. There really isn't a ton of product left in here. I don't know if you can see down into the tube. There really is not a lot left in here, but yeah, I'm just gonna consider it empty because it's just not functioning for me anymore. I'm getting a ton of fallout from it every time that I do rehydrate it. And yeah, it was a mistake on my part. I've already said it many a times on my channel, so I'm just gonna get over it. Okay, and then the next item that I finished up, these are all actually from my Graveyard Project pan. This is the e.l.f. Liquid Highlighter. I really liked using this mixed in with primers as well as mixed in with foundations. I didn't love using it as a standalone highlighter unless I was using it more so on my shoulders or my collarbones or my chest or front of my legs, that kind of thing. And I was able to use it up because I did multi-purpose it in many ways, so happy to get that used up. Won't repurchase it because I have other liquid highlighters that I want to work my way through. And then this, really happy to get this used up. This had lived through multiple project pans. This is the Kat Von D Lock-It Powder Foundation. I have it in the shade Light 49. Happy to get this used up. I primarily just used it actually to set my eyeshadow primer, so this took a long time. This lived in my collection for a very long time. Don't purchase from Kat Von D anymore, and yeah, don't really need a powder foundation at the moment either. And then this last makeup item is from Colourpop. This is the shade Kush in their Super Shock Shadow formula. Actually, since I finished it up, the pan is loose in here. You can see there's not any usable product left in there anymore, and this is such a big accomplishment for me. I used this so much. I neglected my Pan Those Eyeshadows project for about a month and a half because I really, really wanted to make sure I wore this 2 to 3 to maybe 4 times a week. And so this was definitely my priority for a long time. I cannot believe how long these little Super Shock shadows last for after you've hit pan, or just in general. It's insane. I know you can hit pan on them very quickly, but I cannot believe how long this took, how many wears I got out of this. It would be interesting to really pay attention and track that, but I didn't do that. So yeah, really happy to get this used up and out of my collection though. Oh my gosh. I have a backup of it, love it. And now I realize how long it will take me to use up all my Super Shock shadows, which is just a long time with those eyeshadows. But yes, happy to have used up all of that makeup. Not technically an empty, but I always leave these in my empties boxes just so I can talk about them. I love this sponge. This is so good. This is the EcoTools complexion sponge. I love everything about this sponge. It has the perfect density. It's really, really nice and soft. And I love that there are these more flat edges, especially for blending out concealer and for applying powder underneath the eyes. And the round side is just perfect for foundation application. So always have one on hand. I have another one. It's actually been open for a month now. And I find these at Winners. So if you're in Canada, I find these at Winners for $5 or $6 a piece. Way better deal than ever getting a beauty blender, and I do like it actually just as much. I really do like that edge that the beauty blender doesn't have. So yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, really happy to have another one in my collection at the moment. Going into skincare, the first item I have here is this Micellar Water from Marcel. I loved this so much. This tub is 500 mils and I think it lasted me at least 6 months. It might have lasted me longer than that actually. And this one is technically formulated for dry skin. I don't find that this leaves my skin feeling tight or dry or parched. I don't use this as an all-over makeup remover. What I do with this is actually once I've done my double cleanse, so once I've cleansed my with an oil and with a cleanser, if I have a lot of makeup on that day, I tend to find I get makeup in my hairline, or my mascara just won't seem to budge. I will take this, and because it has a pump on the top, I'll just use whatever face cloth I have for that day. If there's a spot that's dry and clean still, or whatever, I'll just use it on the face cloth, just pump a couple pumps onto it and just run it through my hairline, run it down my neck, like especially if I had like liquid highlighter on my neck and all that kind of stuff. This is just more of that like finishing step for me. I don't use this to take off the entirety of my makeup, but it's more so to make sure that all of my makeup is off after I've done a full cleanse. And yeah, absolutely love it. It's alcohol-free, oil-free, fragrance-free. It really didn't bother or irritate my skin at all. It just got the job done. And I have another one of these in my bathroom now. I'm hoping it lasts me just as long because this is such a good value. I think this was like $9 or $10 Canadian, and yeah, it lasted forever. So happy with that. Another skincare product I have here is this one from The Ordinary. This is a squalane cleanser. I didn't expect it to be this small. This didn't last me all that long. This is 50 mils. I expected it to be the large size, like what they're, oh, let's just grab it. This one. I expected it to be as big as the natural moisturizing factors plus HA. I don't know why I didn't anticipate it to be this small, but it was a good way to try out the formula actually, so I'm happy that it wasn't like a massive bottle because I didn't love this. It was decent, it was effective at removing makeup, but just not an absolute favorite of mine, like kind of one of those take it or leave it kind of products. However, it did melt really nicely once you ran it between your hands, melted off makeup really well, but it just didn't like wow me. So I'm not gonna repurchase it anytime soon, but given the price point, if I work my way through my other like oil cleansers and I feel like I don't really want to repurchase any of those, I might end up purchasing the one from The Ordinary again, just given the price point and its effectiveness. And then this next item is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Charlotte's Magic Cream. I actually got a lot of use out of this mini. This is only 15 mils. This came in a Sephora favorite set last year actually. And I primarily took it when we went on our trip back in the early part of the summer. Used it for the entire trip, morning and night, and then continued to use it for about 2 months after that, but I wouldn't use it both times a day. I would just usually use it at night. Really, really nice moisturizer. I cannot afford to repurchase this at all, so I'm not even gonna entertain the idea, but it really felt rich and luxurious without feeling heavy and too greasy. Beautiful formula, just not something that I can justify at all. I finished up a Kapari lip glossy recently. I cut into it and used a Q-tip to get out every last bit of it. I got maybe an additional, I don't know, 6 or so kind of applications out of this after I opened it up. I love this stuff. I'm so addicted to it. It's just such a nice, smooth, rich feeling on the lips. It really keeps my lips from getting dry and cracked and uncomfortable at this time of year, but all throughout the year. I already have another one in my makeup bag that is open, and I have an unopened one in my makeup collection ready to open as soon as that one's finished. It's just the absolute best. It's so hydrating, so nourishing, and it really can be worn as a lip gloss if you want. I don't tend to wear it like a makeup product, but if I've forgotten to bring a lip product to reapply, or I'm just not feeling like wearing a lipstick anymore, but I have a full face of makeup on, I stick that on and I feel just as good as I would with a lip gloss or something else on. So yeah, love it so much. Mine is so beaten and bruised looking. Like, look at this tube now. Just looks so sad, but it just comes with me absolutely everywhere, and it's just the best. This one caught me off guard that I finished this. This is the Penrose Secret Genius fragrance. This is a roller ball, but it's actually a sprayer. I prefer this when it comes to travel size fragrances. I prefer the sprayer, and it just, nothing's coming out of here anymore. It just one day just stopped. Because this is an opaque package, I could not tell that I was near the end. I couldn't tell the difference in weight because it goes down so minimally every single day. I just had no idea that I was nearing the end. And because the Sephora VIP sale came and went recently, I ended up actually repurchasing the full size of this, because the fact that I ran through this and I had no idea that I was even nearing the end goes to show how addicted I was to this and how much I loved this fragrance. I was reaching for this over everything else in my collection, reaching for this like multiple times a day sometimes, just to get that like fresh scent again. It's so good. It's a warm vanilla scent. It has a little bit of a caramel coconut kind of scent. I don't think coconut's in it at all, but it smells a little bit coconutty and a little bit tropical to me, but not so straight summer fragrance. It still is something that I think is definitely wearable all year round, and I absolutely love this. I finished up this Mineral Fusion nail polish remover. I've been using this as of late in place of any other nail polish remover. This is really effective. However, I have been using a face cloth and applying this onto a face, like a really old face cloth, and applying this onto the cloth, and then I'll remove my nail polish with the cloth. Now, the cloth may potentially be soaking up some of the product, but I think it would do that with any nail polish remover. But I do find I need to go in and use a lot of this product in order to take off my nail polish every time I do it. Now, I do go in with 2 coats of nail polish always, plus a top coat. So my nail polish is pretty sturdy, it's pretty secure. And so yeah, this definitely gets put to the test, removing all of that polish. It does the job. Like I said, it just needs a little bit of extra product, but I do think this is very effective. I haven't found any other cruelty-free nail polish removers that are accessible to me, but if you have any suggestions for something that's a little bit more inexpensive, keep in mind I am in Canada. I know the Up and Up brand is inexpensive, and I used to use that one from Target when we had Target for like the brief moment that we did here, but otherwise I really don't know what else to use that's cruelty-free. So let me know if you have any suggestions. I do have another bottle of this in, like, right behind me actually. Right now I have another bottle of this, but yeah, it is kind of pricey for how quickly I do go through a bottle. I also finished up the Miss Meyer's Clean Day hand soap. I love this stuff. This is in the basil scent. It's such a delicious, fresh scent. It doesn't smell like you would expect basil to at all. It just smells so fresh and clean, and love it. Like I said, have another one in my bathroom right now. I have been actually only purchasing this for like our downstairs bathroom, which is like the bathroom that our friends or our guests use, but upstairs in our bathroom now we actually just have a bar of soap, and that's probably what we're gonna just do from here on out, is just have the bar of soap upstairs, but have one of these in the downstairs bathroom in case people come over. It's just a little bit easier, I think, and a little bit more conventional, I guess. But yeah, I do have another one of these. I love this scent so much. It's just so clean and delicious. We are finally in the last stretch of this Empties video. I have only 4 products left here. They're all hair care products. This first one is by Way. This is the texturizing hairspray. This came in a Sephora 500 point perk. I've actually finished up a full size of this in the past. I loved this hairspray, but it is very pricey for hairspray, and since I finished this off, I haven't actually replaced this with anything. I don't have hairspray on hand at the moment, but I do love this for helping to just hold the texture of curls and waves in my hair, as well as I get the worst flyaways. I don't know what it is about my hair, but I have like a million little fuzzy flyaways here at all times, and when I was using this, or any hairspray in general, I'll just spray this onto the roots and kind of just like press down all of my flyaways to tame them as best as I can. And that's the only reason why right now I am missing having a hairspray in my life, because I find if I put oil or serum or anything like that on the roots of my hair, it just gets greasy even quicker than it does on a normal day. So yeah, not gonna replace this because I don't know with certainty that Way is cruelty free actually, but 2, it's just so expensive. I think this is $32 in the full size, and I just go through this stuff like crazy. I'm also honestly just trying to do away with purchasing aerosols. So yeah, I'm just not gonna purchase that. And then that brings me into my next product as well. This is from Cake. This is the DoGooder dry shampoo. This is an aerosol dry shampoo, and like I said, just trying to go away from those. So although this is a Canadian brand, cruelty-free brand, really happy about that. I just don't love that it's an aerosol, and I didn't really like the formula of this either. It didn't feel like it made my hair feel particularly clean. It actually had quite a bit of residue to it, and the scent was so overpowering. I've heard a lot of people say how much they love this scent. I'm just not really into it. It smells very, very like artificial vanilla, artificial sweets kind of scent, and yeah, not my vibe. I have 2 shampoos here as well. This one I've never used before. This is from Pacifica. This is the Super Kale Juiced Up Shampoo. And the other one is like a tried and true favorite. So you already know how I feel about this one. Absolutely love it. Have another one in my shower right now. This is the Avalon Organics Clarifying Shampoo. It smells like Skittles. makes my hair feel super clean, never irritates my scalp, the bomb. And then this one, I purchased this because it is a stress and pollution protection with detoxifying extracts, so I thought it might work in like contrast or in alternative to having something like a clarifying shampoo. It might feel a little bit less heavy but still have that clarifying property. But it just didn't really do anything for me. It never left my hair feeling overly clean. So yeah, I'm not gonna repurchase this. It just didn't really make an impression on me, to be honest. I used it all up, but I would only use it every like third or fourth or fifth wash just because I was like, oh, I should reach for that. Not because I enjoyed it particularly. So yeah, that is absolutely everything for my empties. My camera is literally about to die, so I've been like on high speed for these last few products, but thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. Also, hopefully my next empties video is not 2.5 months from now. I really want to get my next empties video up by like the middle to end of December, so I'll see you then.